Hi girls, back again. Second video for today. And this is our second stage of our structural setups. So first stage again was the source. Now we're moving on to our forwards. And again, how good are these graphics? Okay, it's amazing what you can get on Google. It's amazing. So I love this one here. Okay, skull and crossbones. So when I see that, I see danger. I see danger and dangerous forwards. So if there's anything to take out of our overall forward structure is that we want you to be dangerous. Okay, we'll talk a little bit about what that actually looks like. But if you look at our forward group, we've got speed. We've got road runners. Okay, Gibbo, Tani Tester, Mads, Grace Kelly, you're road runners. Okay? And round 2 or 3, when we're playing against Oppo, you're going to have coyotes trying to chase after you. Alright? Good luck. Good luck, Oppo, trying to chase Tani Tester back to goals. Good luck, Oppo, chasing Grace Kelly. Gibbo. Alright? So, when we think about our forwards, we're dangerous, but we're speedy. Okay, so back your speed in. Before I get to the next slide though, it's really important that we acknowledge and spend some time talking through this. So can you just flick it up please, please mate? So, fantastic. We talk about in our program being connected. And one of our players who's joined us from interstate has been baking, which is great. But I'm probably more focused around the Eagle Tough side of things. So Eagle Tough for me is putting this icing on, man, and the little balls, you know, 45. Stop laughing, please, at the back. 45 little balls and sand pads. Fantastic stuff. But for me, the big one was the message. So it's a little bit hard to read, but it goes like this. This cookie probably looks like shit and probably tastes like it too, but it's made with love from Mads. So thanks, Mads. Brilliant. I had this with a cup of rosehip tea last night and it tasted deluxe. So thank you. All right, moving on to our line structures. Just take a moment to have a quick scan of the 2 grounds. And our forward line structures are going to be really specific, and Michelle Cowan is going to educate these further in the new year when we go into our line work, but also when we do our match simulation. So before I get into how this actually looks from a stoppage point of view, I just want you to focus on the word low and 2-2-1. So the 2-2-1 refers to 2 players at the top, 2 here, and then 1 which is a bit deeper. So when we talk about low, that's our low player. Okay, so we have our 2 at the front, 2 in the middle, and then our lowest player at the back to give us coverage. You see down here we've got letters. So we've got B, which is for boundary side. We have C, which is for corridor side. Then we have our 2 middle forwards. And then our DL, which is our deep link. Okay? So from a stoppage point of view, it's really important that we have those 2 players that are supporting the back of the stoppage, our 2 middle players creating a box between the 4 of them, and then our deep link. Why do you think that's important to have our 2-2-1 with our deep link? Can anyone answer that?
If we create a contest with our other 4 forwards, the deep link can really get busy at the back and provide another option.
Good, good. So our mids will get the contest done in here, turning a 50-50 into a 60-40. If that ball comes out and does go longer, we've got that cover at the back. Okay? And again, we're happy with this. If the ball comes in here and we fight to make it a contest, then this player can give us coverage closer to goal. Okay, so our 2-2-1 gives us 2 at the front, 2 at the middle, 1 at the back.
Coach, you're going to cover this, but is that the structure? If the ball moves closer to our back line, can we still play the 2-2-1?
Absolutely. We can still play it. If that ball was shifted down more towards D50, okay, our 2-2-1 just goes with it. Right? Because we still need that coverage at the back when we win the contest and the ball goes over. We expect this player to fight, bring it to ground if they don't mark it, and then our other forwards are dangerous in getting to their feet.
And I'm guessing the B and C have a role to play in around the stoppage, but the 2 forwards that sit behind them are probably like 30 metres off, so if we surge the ball that they're ready to make that contest?
Yeah, that's a good point. The depth is important, so these players are probably 15 to 20 metres, even a little bit closer at times, at the back of the stoppage, and then these players are that 30 metre distance, where if the ball does get surged out dirty, then they can provide that contest. Yeah, it's a good point. Our second option that we can go to is our 3-2, where we're giving the back of the stoppage an extra player. So we still have our B roll, our boundary, we have our corridor, but we also have a middle player who will come up and make a line between the B and the C. Again, at the back we've got a forward plus our deep link. So when an opposition team might be feeding the ball back from a stoppage, we can have an extra player there to put pressure on the back of the stoppage. Okay? It also gives us an opportunity to, again, if that ball goes over that first line, we get numbers back to give us representation of that contest. The 3-2, again, as the question was before, okay, this can move anywhere around the ground based off where the ball is. Okay? So, generally for our centre bounce, we will have our 2-2-1 with our deepest link in the goal square. And then around the ground, we can either go to our low setup or our 3-2 high setup.
I'm guessing too, with the 3-2, with our dangerous, speedy forward line, it's almost like just create as much space out the back and just mids, get the ball to grass and we can all run onto it.
Yeah, Tani, well done. I knew you would ask this question because you're going to be that player, potentially, who's ripping back towards our goals. So it's a really good point because if Swanee or Dana or Amara or Hayley Bullis, you kick that ball over the back of our forwards, our speedies are getting towards goal. Okay? And the Coyotes, good luck. Good luck catching us running back towards goal. Okay? So that high setup is a little bit more dangerous in terms of the strengths that we have in our forward line. But we'll educate, and as I said, Michelle Cowan will educate who these players are. So that could be you, Maddie Collier. That could be you, Gibbo. That could be Pisco, our deepest link, giving us that representation there or here to give us a really strong contest. Could be you, Paz. And then, effectively, we know the structure. It doesn't really matter who's standing where, because you'll need to know our 2-2-1, our 3-2, and you know the role. So we're really confident that that player doesn't matter who it is. Okay, Grace Kelly, you could be up here at certain stages. So the way we educate is that it's not a player for each particular position. Right? You'll be playing that role within the team, but you might find yourself at stages in different points in that setup. So that's really important to note.
Just final one from Belinda Smith here.
Yep.
Being a forward line group, we really need to own this, don't we? Because we'll have midfielders and rucks that will go forward and rest, or that's part of their role to go forward, and they'll need to make sure they really know and own that too. But us as a forward line group, to make sure we provide the leadership and voice is going to be so important for those that do go through.
Yeah, good point. I had that written up actually, because the strength of our squad is that we will have midfielders that will go forward. They will go and play forward. So our primary forwards, it's really important that you know these setups, because Amara Cameron might be playing in the midfield and then she rotates with Maddie Collier, for example. She needs to know where she's standing. So you need to give her the confidence to go, it's okay, you're playing C role, Amara, no worries. You go and stand there. That could be Belinda Smith. And on this side, that could be B. Devlin. Okay, so the forwards taking ownership of the structure will really help those midfielders who are going to come down and use their speed and be dangerous. They're not just going down there for a rest, they're there to be dangerous as well. So we expect midfielders to be having shots on goal. We expect midfielders to be applying forward half pressure and creating turnovers. So again, in summary, our 2-2-1, our 3-2, our boundary, our B role boundary, our middle player, our C role corridor, our deep link, and our F forward. Good job, forwards.
Still going. We've got just centre bounce.
Okay. So from centre bounce, we've spoken about 2-2-1 and our deep link starting in the goal square. So what we spoke about with the source is that our brand still sits within our forward structure. So for Eagle Tough, that means making sure you're playing in front. You're playing in front of your opponent, so when our mids win the centre bounce and it comes out, we can provide a contest. Really important. That's predictable. That's predictable for our mids, knowing that our forwards are going to be in front. And if that ball doesn't quite come perfectly out the front, it might come off to the side. That's where our hard running comes in. Our ability to then get to that next contest through hard running and then putting pressure on or winning that contest is Eagle Tough. So our 2-2-1 at centre bounce is really important. Obviously giving ourselves that deep link, but our brand is just as important.
Just another one. If we're in high and it's 3-2, but there's a centre bounce, obviously we need that player in the goal square to start.
Yep.
Can we still play high, go back to a 2-2-1 for the centre bounce and go straight back into high again?
Absolutely. Yeah, we can adjust. In terms of wanting to have that high structure, and then as soon as that centre bounce goes, the formation changes. So the deep link then just comes up, and we get our 3-2 going again. Not a problem at all. So centre bounce, ball ups. We've spoken a lot about the balance and the mids here. So forwards, just have a look again. We have our B and our C, our two forwards and our deep link. If the opposition wingers play on the 45s like ours, and the ball comes out here, we've got these players who can impact. Really important. On your toes, you're ready. Because if that ball comes, you can pressure. But if the ball goes over your head, you're ripping back as fast as you can to support this contest here.
So what do we call that, LD? Is it stalk? Is it another word?
No, we're going to call it a stalk. Yeah, so a stalk means that you're ready, because if that ball squirts out 5 or 10 metres, our C and our B, you can stalk that and then come and actually impact that contest. Because if Collingwood want to feed it back to their wingers, we want pressure from behind. Really important. That's being dangerous.
Gibbo here. What about if our defenders want to drop off? What can we do in the lead up to that to try and keep them engaged? Is it just trying to move around a little bit and stay active and stay dangerous to keep my player up?
Yep.
If they do drop off, do I just move back a little bit and communicate to my other high player as to what I have to do as well?
Yeah, it's a good question, Gibbo, because we will play against Oppo that will want to drop off our forwards and try and read the ball in flight. So it's a really good question. What we need to do is make sure we're staying dangerous. That's our big thing. And actually, movement will force that opposition to keep thinking about, okay, where's that forward moving to? What's the ball doing? So if you're just standing there, they're just going to be able to read that too easily. So you want to keep change, you want to keep moving in a small area to make sure that you're engaging that defender. And you're looking at the other forwards, making sure you're keeping a good distance between each other, so you're keeping your formation. And you want to be, this is a really important one, you want to be within striking zone. So if that ball does drop into that area and your defender has dropped off a little bit, you want to be able to get there and make a contest. So if you're too far away and you feel like you are too far away, just adjust, okay? And then if that ball comes out, you can either go for your mark or you're going to halve that contest. So you're not just going to be dictated to by where that defender goes. You're going to stay dangerous, but you can't just stand still and just expect to be dangerous. You've got to be active. You've got to be ready to be on your toes. If that ball comes out, you're ready. Okay? Hopefully that answered your question, Gibbo, but we can clarify further.
The only other one I have is if for whatever reason the opposition want to play an extra back, a +1, I'm guessing you'll give us direction in terms of how as a team we're going to handle that, but the main focus for the forwards would just be to round her up.
Yeah.
And create a 2v1. That's within our control, but we might be happy with that just as an extra back there because we've got an extra.
Yeah.
But you as the coach will give that direction game day.
Yeah, definitely. That instruction will come from the box. That if they want to play an extra defender, let's say it's inside this area, or it might be up here a little bit further. We mentioned the word round up, which means, basically that again means that you need to be in a position forwards that if the ball goes to that player, you can impact. Because if you're too far from them and they've created separation, then that player could impact, they could get the ball. So we want to be close enough to strike if that ball does come in to that area. But we'll instruct that because, again, we mentioned we'll have a spare player somewhere up here. So it's really important that we don't panic, okay? We don't panic, we assess the situation, the runner might come out and say, hey girls, they're playing an extra +1, let's just hold our 2-2-1, okay? And if the ball looks like it's going to that player, be in a position where you can get over and at least halve the contest. That's a good question. Our ball ups. Nothing changes. 2-2-1.
Sorry, boundary throwing.
Sorry, boundary throw-ins. Nothing changes. 2-2-1. Again, these two players are close enough to impact, stalk the back of the stoppage. If that ball gets kicked out by our mids, we've got representation here to give a contest. And if we get, if we get the ball sort of out pretty cleanly, then we've also got a deeper representation where our deep link can give us that contest inside 20 to 25 metres. Again, being dangerous, if that ball goes in, we want to try and get goal side of our opponent. Our hard running, our eagle tough, our ability to get around our opponent and get to where that ball is dropping. That's been predictable, but it takes hard running. It takes hard running to identify the ball's going to drop there, I've got to get there and help out that contest. So our boundary throw-in, 2-2-1. We've got cover at the back of the stoppage with our boundary and our corridor player and our deep link.
So we've only used the example of 2-2-1 here, but that can be 3-2 as well.
Yeah, we can go to 3-2.
That's good. So two options as forwards, it's high or it's low. The low obviously means that we've got the deep link out the back, and as a forward, I'm going to really own and lead this structure, so then when others come into the group, they just know where they've got to be and what we're playing.
Yeah. Again, it's the ownership on the players, but we'll educate this. We're going to practice this. We're going to walk through this on the ground in January. So when we get to the game, it's going to be clear, 2-2-1 or a 3-2. And again with our 3-2, so if our deep link comes up and our M player, our middle player, goes to the front line, if we get it out the back, that's where we use our leg speed. Okay? But I think coming away from this presentation, if you just think about, okay, we've got two setups that we're going to go to, our 2-2-1 and our 3-2. And if we get those right and we bring this, okay, it doesn't matter who's playing in these roles, all right, because we can get it done. So forwards, big things are the brand sits in our structure. If we're predictable to each other and we eagle tough and we run hard, we're going to score. And we're going to be bloody hard to play against. So well done, happy viewing, and again, thanks Mads for your biscuit.